Hi, I'm Leon Gibson, the Director of the Public Transit Team here at the Utah Department of Transportation. The goal of this video is to showcase the benefits of the Federal Transit Administration programs. We are proud of the positive impacts the programs provide to the people of the state of Utah. I hope you enjoy the video.
We live in a society that's constantly on the move. With personal lives that are increasingly on the go, we may find it difficult to manage what seem like ever-shifting schedules and activities. Imagine, due to age, economics, circumstance, or disability, you are not able to operate or own a vehicle. What would your quality of life be like? Thousands of Utahns face this obstacle every day, whether it be from age, a disability, an accident, or possibly losing a job. We all may face this reality at some point in our lives. In addition, you may be called upon to be the caregiver for a family member or friend in need. This is reality.
We provide public transit service and ADA accessible transit service to the residents of Cache Valley and Franklin County. One of the stories that I like to tell is really about the reason that I got into public transit. I was driving bus here in Cache Valley years and years ago. I've been in the business way too long, but just going to school, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And one of the things I enjoyed about driving bus was meeting the passengers and getting to know them. And there was this gentleman. His name was LaRue, 96 years old. He was missing a finger, He just was a good old guy. And he used to ride the bus every day. He'd ride for 3 or 4 hours, And so when I had a chance, I'd visit with him, and I got to know him. And one day I just said, "Hey, LaRue, what's your story, man? I see you out here. You ride for 3 or 4 hours every day. What's going on?" And he got tears in his eyes. He says, "Todd, I'm 96. He says, "I'm going blind. I can't drive anymore." He said, "My wife died a year ago. I live with my daughter and her 3 kids and her husband." He says, "I'm a burden to them. They have to take care of me." And so he says, having public transit that's free, I get to get out of the house. I get to give them a break from taking care of Grandpa. He says, "I get to meet great people like you." And he just talked about what a wonderful experience it was. And he's obviously since passed on, but that was a changing moment for me. That's why I'm like, I want to go into public transit. We change people's lives. And it really was that thing of a quality of life situation to where, what would his quality of life been had we not been there, had public transit not been there? It definitely wouldn't have been as independent as it was. And he was riding the bus up until the day he died.
Here in Utah, 8 agencies provide fixed route and complementary paratransit services that provide meaningful connections throughout their service areas. These agencies work hard every day to improve and increase access in their regions, affecting the lives of thousands across the state. But what if connecting to these services is difficult or not practical? What if you are outside of their service areas? While the state of Utah does not provide funding for public transit, the Federal Transit Administration, or FTA, sponsors 21 separate grant programs. 6 of these grants are specific to specialized transit services that assist rural, low-income, and elderly individuals and persons with disabilities. It is up to the governors of each state to decide how these programs will be managed and who will manage them. Here in Utah, the responsibility of the programs falls under the Utah Department of Transportation and the Public Transit Team. The team is responsible for awarding funds from these programs through a competitive grant process each year to recipients in all corners of the state. These funds are used in a variety of ways to meet operating and capital needs of individual agencies and entities. You may be asking, what are these programs? The statewide planning program, or 5304 funds, are utilized for planning activities around the state. Activities could include updating the coordinated plans, holding human service agency meetings, or the funds could be leveraged to hire staff and conduct various planning activities. The Transportation for Elderly Persons and Persons with Disabilities program, or 5310 funds, are utilized to purchase capital items such as specialized buses, GPS equipment, and communications equipment. These funds are apportioned based on each state's share of population for these groups of people.
I'm Bill Cox. I'm a commissioner in Rich County and also the director of the Senior Citizen Program within the county of Rich. 5310 program is a great program for the smaller rural areas because it provides a mechanism to get some federal dollars to provide transportation to meet the needs of the local areas, particularly rural areas, because without those funds there's not enough money to buy vehicles just outright, and so it provides an opportunity for small centers like my own to buy a vehicle and be able to provide transportation and meet the needs of the citizens through a piece of equipment that has a wheelchair lift and provides mobility that's not there only through the Senior Citizen Center.
I'm Kaylin Beecher from Cash Employment and Training Center, and we provide services for people with developmental disabilities. And we bring people from all over Cache County into Logan to receive their services. They come from Brigham City, Tremonton, every little town in between. And for many of them, in this rural area, there is no source of public transportation that's accessible to them. In Logan City, we do have the CVTD, but for many of our folks, that's difficult for them to ride also because of the door-to-door service that they need, or because they may need an assistant on the van to help with some medical issues or some behavioral issues, those kind of things. They may not be able to tell if they went to the transit that they needed to be able to transfer buses and those things. And so our service is so critical when it comes to transportation for them. We transport about 100 people on a daily basis, getting them from their homes to the centers and to their jobs in the community and then back home at night.
The Non-Urbanized Formula Program, or 5311, is a rural program that provides funding to states for the purpose of supporting public transportation in rural areas with population of less than 50,000. The goal of the program is to enhance the access of people in non-urbanized areas to healthcare, shopping, education, employment, public services, and recreation, assist in the maintenance, development, improvement, and use of public transportation systems in non-urbanized areas, encourage and facilitate the coordination of programs and services, and provide opportunity of private transportation providers in non-urbanized transportation.
We're pretty excited. It's been a long time in the works, and we're excited about the possibilities of people being able to get from one place to the next. We have a large population of individuals that don't have the ability to drive for whatever reason that might be. Some are disadvantaged, some are challenged financially and maybe don't own a vehicle. But we also have some, like my daughter, for instance, who had problems with seizures, and so she was not allowed to have a driver's license. She doesn't live in this area, but it would be a great thing for her to be able to get on a bus because she can't drive a motor vehicle because of that seizure problem. And so we're just really excited about the possibilities of people having transportation so they don't have to rely on neighbors or organizations and different things to haul them around. They'll be able to get on the bus and be able to go shopping or take care of business that they have at the county building as well as in the neighboring county of UNT County. Well, we hope, first of all, that a lot of the population will take advantage of this, because in the Uinta Basin right now we're dealing with some air quality issues, and if we can get more people using public transit, that will reduce the particulates that we have in the air and hopefully we can stay out of non-containment, because that would totally affect our economy out here if we get into that situation. So we're looking at that as one of the possibilities of the bus. Less drivers, less traffic on the road. Anybody that's driven in the Uinta Basin lately knows that's a big concern. We have a lot of large truck traffic hauling oil, transporting back and forth from Salt Lake, and so if we can cut back on the number of vehicles on the road, things will go a little more safely, and we'll be able to reduce that congestion that we see, especially early morning and evening. We're not as bad as Salt Lake yet on rush hour traffic, but sometimes we look like we could equal some areas of the Wasatch Front.
Intercity Bus, or 5311F, subsidizes intercity bus programs that connect rural communities to urban regions. Currently, the UDOT Public Transit Team subsidizes the Utah portion of the US 40 route from Salt Lake City to Denver, connecting 21 different communities. The route began in late 2009 and had 9,055 boardings in 2010. The team also recently updated the state intercity bus plan, identifying several priority routes for future funding. 2 of those routes are currently being advertised for operator proposals. US 89 corridor from Richfield continuing through Manti and Moroni with connections to Provo and Salt Lake City, and SR 191 corridor from Blanding continuing to Green River via Monticello and Moab with additional connections to Provo and Salt Lake City. The goal of Job Access Reverse Commute, or JARC, is to improve access to transportation services to employment and employment-related activities for eligible low-income individuals. The goal of the program is also to transport residents of urbanized areas and non-urbanized areas to suburban employment opportunities. The program also funds mobility management activities. The goal of the New Freedom, or 5317 program, is to provide additional tools to overcome existing barriers facing Americans with disabilities seeking integration into the workforce and full participation in society. Funded projects include mobility management trips provided by human service agencies, expansion of paratransit services, travel training, and new feeder services to regional transit services. Without these funds, it would be impossible for most, if not all, of the agencies to purchase many of these items, limiting access for individuals across the state.
Getting these funds is essential for options. Transportation is an integral part of what we do here to provide better independence for our consumers, for them to be able to come on an activity without transportation. It wouldn't be possible. We rely on having the lifts for our consumers that use wheelchairs. They cannot get to the activities or get to their grocery shopping trips or get to the support groups here without the transportation. It is essential. It is the backbone of my program for sure, and other programs that we have here at the center. Without this funding, I think that these programs would come to a halt or see way less in numbers.
Because mostly people with disabilities are always, they're locked in. If their staff can't take them, they're homebound. I think it's going to allow them to get to meet more people, self-reliance, self-confidence, where they can go to Walmart. Those who goes to the LDS temple, they can go more to the temple instead of relying on people. People, if you drive your car, you don't see the need. If you drive, you don't, so we can just drive, or you can just walk. Well, some places you can't walk to. And this kind of, the funding helps not only them, but senior citizens. It helps people who has cars, who don't want to pay $6 a gallon. It it gets them out, and I think what's really great about it is people who never dealt with disabilities, they're getting a whole different outlook.
For individuals in need of transit services, understanding all of the detail and getting to where they need to go can be confusing, and piecing all of the services together can sometimes feel like a puzzle. In addition to providing more effective service to users, mobility management can also save agencies money and enhance ridership through coordinating routes and reducing trip redundancies.
I think the definition of mobility management changes depending on where you live and kind of the challenges that you face in your area. I think the definition will evolve too the more that we learn on how to overcome certain struggles or challenges that agencies face when moving certain populations around. But I know for us it's really been focused on an inventory in the area of what's available to the transportation disadvantaged in our region. What does that mean? Are they getting to the agencies that they need to or want to get to, and then are they getting to the services that they need or want to receive? How are they doing that? And really just a good inventory of what's available and what's out there, which is good planning all around. The second part of that is really being able to do good analysis. And as part of any planning, I think that's really important, is being able to analyze all this information that you get in an effective way so that you can plan or strategize for the future. And so we've been able to really focus on getting data, having the software or technology available in our office to do GIS analysis or mapping, see where there's duplication occurring, see where there's potential efficiencies that could be gained in transportation for agencies and coverage. Because we're mostly rural, we have agencies that drive really far distances to either pick up their clients and or bring them to their facilities. And so it was really important to us to identify where there's overlap in agency coverages and where they're driving so that we can show them here's where some of these efficiencies can be gained in coordination and working together, forming partnerships. And I think the third major role is planning and developing strategies to overcome all that we've identified and all that inventory and analysis with the partnering agencies and having their input on this is what we'd like to see for the future, this is what we're willing to contribute or do to make these efficiencies happen and these improvements happen and just ultimately improve transportation in our region for those that need it. So.
From playing cards to downhill skiing, recreational activities are as varied as the people participating in them. We recreate for exercise, to reduce stress, to laugh, to be with family and friends, and to forget about life for a while. Recreation is a necessary component in the quality of all of our lives.
My name is Michelle Latta. I was born with cerebral palsy. We are so grateful for the van that we have received so we can go and be independent and go on these outings. If we did not have the van, we could not go on our outings and we would be stuck home.
Whether it be access to a senior center or a trip to the great outdoors, the UDOT transit team and its cooperating agencies provide that access and relief to individuals around the state.
My name's Vern Burgess. I'm recreation specialist with Tri-County Independent Living Center, and a couple years ago we got us a van from UDOT, which has been a big blessing to our program. Fiscal year 2009 to 2010, we had close to 1,430 participants in our rec program, which was unthinkable at one point in time. It's been really good to have the van. Without the van, the program would be a lot smaller, and we really enjoy being able to do activities with Common Ground Outdoor Adventures of Logan, and we wouldn't be able to make it up here without that van. And we do thank UDOT for everything they've done to help people with disabilities have adaptive recreation, which is both mental and physical rehabilitation. Thank you.
And what do y'all like to do at the senior center?
Eat.
Eat and dance with the women.
So
you know, really, it's an ideal situation to come here and spend time with friends and loved ones that you really get to appreciate, and you learn a lot.
Oh yeah, you learn quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I know, but you really do learn a lot. They have a library here. We have a lot of things that's very educational.
Recreation is especially important for our seniors. Engaging in physical activity reduces almost every risk of disease, including heart disease, high blood pressure, colon cancer, and diabetes. Participation in recreational activities improves mental health as well. And research shows that older individuals who participate in recreational activities have better coping behaviors in response to stressful life events and daily frustrations. And inclusive recreation benefits include, but are not limited to, creating friendships, communication skills, physical fitness, improve self-esteem, reduce loneliness, and stress management. In addition to the programs they manage, the public transit team also helps fund and actively participates on the Utah Urban Rural Specialized Transportation Association, or URSTA, and our active United We Ride members. URSTA is a statewide nonprofit advocacy organization. Since 1988, the goal of URSTA has been to build a strong network of fixed route and specialized transportation services. Throughout the year, URSTA holds 2 conferences and offers a myriad of training opportunities and rodeos around the state.
Well, URSTA's mission is actually to try to provide a better life through better transportation. And the vision of how we would accomplish that is to kind of try to champion the cause of regional transportation through training and advocacy. The last 5-6 years, most of our focus has been on improving training throughout the state. And there's a lot of networking, I would say, throughout the state of the large from UTA, Cache Valley Transit, Park City Transit, Sun Trans, which are the more established transit systems, networking with the smaller rural areas and providing training, input, and network and resources back and forth one with another, all throughout the state. We did over 1,500 hours of that last year.
A rodeo is a bus driver road course competition that tests a driver's skills in various areas, and most rodeos include a written test. This year, URSTA sponsored 4 rodeos around the state. The rodeo is also a great opportunity for drivers to network with other drivers and grow as transit professionals. Skills tested include softball, having to reach speeds upwards of 25 miles per hour and stopping within 6 inches of the cone. The dreaded serpentine, a tight S-curve that always serves up trouble. Reversing. Not as easy as you would think. A tight right turn always proves difficult. Parallel parking, stop within 6 inches of the curb. Pre-trip, a detailed vehicle inspection prior to driving. Wheelchair training, a necessary component for every driver. In addition to driver skills, the rodeo recognizes driver strengths and promotes the importance of day-to-day public service and professionalism.
When you approach a blind person, don't assume they need help. I like to be as independent as possible, okay? There are other blind people who need a lot of help. You have to make sure whether or not they need help. Would you like assistance? Can I help you? Would you like to take my arm? Don't grab. Okay? Grabbing is just not appropriate. I have 2 blind sisters, and it's very annoying to all of us to have somebody just come up and grab us. And especially, I hate it when somebody pushes me. Don't push me. Okay? I don't want to be pushed.
The public transit team has been an active member of United We Ride since its inception. United We Ride is a federal interagency initiative aimed at improving the availability, quality, and efficient delivery of transportation services for older adults, people with disabilities, and individuals with lower incomes. With over 62 federal programs subsidizing transportation in one form or another, it is easy to understand why there is confusion, duplication, and inefficiencies in specialized transit services. There are 3 overarching United We Ride goals aimed at putting the customer first. Number 1, provide more rides for the targeted populations with the same. And finally, number 3, to increase customer satisfaction.
Hello, my name is Carlos Braceras, and I'm the Deputy Director of the Utah Department of Transportation. The citizens of the state of Utah expect and deserve the best transportation system in the world. Our transportation system provides both for the exceptional quality of life that all of our citizens expect and deserve, but also serves as a foundation for our growing economy. When people in the state of Utah think about transportation, a great deal of them may first think of just roads, or maybe perhaps our exceptional urban transit system. But to many in our state, a specialized transit service is also critical in being able to provide the mobility that they need to be able to meet their goals and aspirations. Here at the Utah Department of Transportation, we're proud to partner with the Federal Transit Administration to provide those services that are needed by all citizens in the state of Utah to meet their needs. Thank you.
The UDOT Public Transit Team strives to educate, train, assist, and fund transit and transit-related projects throughout Utah. By promoting, advocating, and supporting public transit, the UDOT Transit Team is helping to create better lives through better transportation, and in doing so, making a difference around the state.
Set me free, I hear you calling me. Open up, shine your loving light on me. My hands are dirty, but my heart is ready. Knees are weak, but my back is strong. And the hand on the plow is steady. Oh, shine light on me. The door, open up, set me free. I hear you calling me. Open up and shine your loving light on me. Oh, my daddy told me every morning, got to put your shoulder up against a stone. It don't matter if you ever get it wrong. Oh, shine light on me. The door, open up, set me free.